Let me put this coffee back. Come on closer, guys.
What do you think of the situation, Joe?
I took a bath today.
No, I know, we just, we all did.
I didn't, I forgot to. It's
You
not
forgot,
Saturday
yeah.
yet. I don't know, I had to go to court the other day, not today.
All right.
I would say, how's the deals in the court system? Is some of it on the up and up, is all okay? Seriously, you know, because I've dealt in the court before, and it's really terrible.
The entire Cook County Circuit Court system, particularly in the criminal division, is a complete failure.
Right.
Cases take between 2 and 6 years to complete. In the meantime, people sit at the county jail at the taxpayer's expense of $100 a day.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have medical problems, which about 10% do, it's about $150 per day per detainee.
Mm-hmm.
They have clogged the whole system with nonviolent drug self-abusers, so they can justify the sheriff's budget of $400 million a year for 7,000 employees. And you know, they don't go after people who commit serious crimes. They go after people who have 2 joints in their pockets. That's what they go after.
You know, if the mainstream media were to cover something that you would want them to cover, specifically, what would you want them to cover that they're not covering?
The critical issue in this race for this very important Chief Prosecutorial Office, Cook County State's Attorney's Office, is the fact that Ms. Alvarez was hired by Mayor Daley, when he was the state's attorney in 1986. She was promoted by him and his chief of staff, now state's attorney Dick Devine, and she is endorsed by Burke and Banks and all the folks who are part of the remnants of the Cook County Democratic machine. She has exhibited no political independent judgment and independence. She's completely in their pocket. And if elected, she will continue with the same failed policies that they have had in place for the last 12 years or longer, 20 years really. So we need somebody in that office who's politically independent, who will apply the law based on the facts, regardless of political affiliation, regardless of what political organization you come from, regardless of who your parents are or what political position they hold. She can't do that. She hasn't done it, she won't do it.
She can't.
She's completely controlled by the mayor, by Dick Devine,
See,
by
there
the
you go. Now you're going to get the mayor controls the state's attorney's office then.
Now, you mentioned something about that spoilage act for those veterans?
Yeah, there's a spoilage act in there. And you know, the veterans had it and everybody else had it, where they destroy documents and everything else in court and change things around in court. And Daley's one of the guys that knew about this and never done nothing. And his people know that, because besides putting those bags on the guys' heads and torturing them, they have to change the documents, the dockets, and everything else to match with that. Because you can't put these guys away.
You have the glasses on. You're going to be incognito here?
Yeah, well, you know, I had a cataract operation.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
okay.
thought it was,
No,
let it be off the record.
I got my cane in the car too, just to hang in, so I'm Stevie Wonder. No, but see, what they're doing is they're forging trials all over the place here, and they've been doing it when we caught them. Big
Well,
time.
listen, if you look at just the last year, it's not only the U.S. Attorney had to indict John Burge, and there will be other indictments of police officers who were part of that group under Lieutenant Burge, but also there were assistant state's attorneys who were present during these interrogations.
Yeah,
as they were
I seen
looking
them
to
come out.
authorize charges, whether they should be felonies and what class felonies. They were there during these
Torture
incidents.
periods, yeah.
Exactly, and they looked either in the room or on the other side of a one-way glass,
Well,
and they didn't
we
do
heard them
anything
from-
about it.
I heard them yelling from outside when I was picking up garbage, so
Yeah.
we knew they were doing it at the same time too.
But also you have, for example, Officer Ardeline, who was driving drunk and killed 2 young Hispanic youth last Thanksgiving, 2007, and they charged this officer at the police station where he has worked for 12 years with 2 counts of negligent driving, misdemeanor negligent driving. If it was any of us, he'd be looking at felony involuntary manslaughter charges. Officer Cozy, who beat up a wheelchair-bound African-American man in the subway station on camera, was charged with a simple battery. You have Officer Abati, who beat that bartender lady on the northwest
Well,
side.
doesn't it
who's
all
still
come-
on the, let me finish.
I know, but I know what these cops are, but doesn't it still come down to the judges that are calling control and all this? If the judges really took a stand on what was happening, you wouldn't have no more of this stuff, because they can get out of it by political things with Daley. Because when I was a kid, I was about 8 years old, and I heard the old man say to him, Once we got the judges, we got everything. The police follow the judges. That's the key.
Why do you think that the Greylord investigation in the late 80s and early 90s resulted in convictions of 14 sitting judges who were fixing murder cases for $15,000, $20,000?
One of them
But did you know they scared that guy out, the guy that would come from downstate? See, I talked to him, and they scared his ass out. He was about my height, about 5'6". He was the guy with the cowboy boots. That was the judge that wore the wire. And they scared the shit. He won't talk about anything anymore, and he went back down south. But he's the guy that started that Greylord and that Greylord thing. He caught him up in there.
Judge Hake.
Yeah, the one down there, and he's like scared of his own shadow. Well, here's another thing. Just when we were talking about Shackman and that, and Daly's involved in it, and she's got to know this too, Alvarez. No one has ever won a Shackman in 37 years but me.
No, actually, there have been a series of settlements, as you know.
No. I won. It's no longer Shackman fire, it's me.
Okay, so what do you want me to say?
No, what I want you to say is go after Daly in the court system, how they pour all this stuff up. We got this one thing that's, like, if say you become like state's attorney, okay? And you were already given, like you were talking about with the other guy, Fitzgerald, when he says he's not what you're doing this and that. But you were doing the right thing by helping him or cooperating with him. Now, the point is, under the law, when I had Fred Foreman got my first $250,000. Then they went and hid the other settlement, or the other, not settlement, the other award I was supposed to get because they didn't want no one to know that they broke the decree. So Daly goes out there and says, no one's ever won the Shack. Well, I did. I was on national TV, I had the stuff to prove it and everything. And under this act, Spoilage Act, I'm entitled to $22 million from him now. See what I'm saying? But in other words, but the thing is, you can't get lawyers here in Illinois to fight his ass because it's too heavy, too hard. So I was wondering, now if you found out all this fraud was going on, and I'm talking about Judge Duff and everybody else, and I can put the Judge Norgal, I can catch everyone. They couldn't say a word to me. I can debate the U.S. Attorney on just this Shackman and the fraud up there, and they can't say one peep. I know you got I think you got the book from Linda, that the justice system. Yeah, that was me that won that case, and I know everything they did because they thought I was really stupid and stuff. They were talking about how they do it, how everybody that he had a rule in court for me because they would change the decision. This goes all the way up to these judges. He even told what judges were doing it, about other cases too. I was even telling Channel 7 how certain cases were going to come out. I mean, so in other words, how do we change the corruption that's right there at the top in the Dirksen building? And there's no statute of limitation on fraud upon the court. And the Spoilage Act means you can come in at any time and nail these guys. And Daly's trying to say now that there never was a Shackman that won. Well, there were settlements, but I actually beat his ass. And see, that's the point. Now they didn't want to pay the damages. They went and tried to change it into a new trial.
Do you have some questions to ask me, or do you
Yeah.
want to lecture me?
No. Well, first the lecture, because I know where I'll be back to this one last question now. Now, you mean say the state's attorney, which you should be, because the other broad, she's with Daly, and anything Daly touches is crap.
She's a lady.
I don't care.
Let's be.
No. I'm sorry, I can't. See, if you went through what I went through, you wouldn't think of anybody as ladies. I just think of them as politicians. That's all they really are, and crooks. So that's the name of the game, and there's nothing they can do about it. There's nothing they can do about it. They can't say a word because it's true. As a matter of fact, I've been confronted Daly with it. And Daly just had it back now. We went by his house in the alley. We used to know how to, the precinct captain would sneak us back in there because we went with 3 guys. Right to his face said, Daly, we're forging his stuff. I'll look at it. I'll check it. He did nothing to me.
Nothing would surprise me in Cook County.
Right.
Nothing would surprise me.
But how do we get it out?
When people do the right thing.
No, there you go. But how would you actually get it out? Because when I changed like this when I was in court, and I see Judge Duff sitting up there, and it was a black guy going to be electrocuted, one of the last guys in Illinois. And his lawyer was up there, and Continental Airlines case was up there with me. And Continental brought all their stuff into Illinois to be done because they said this is the cheapest place and easiest place to get it fixed. And they were sitting in front of me when they were saying it. And then the lawyer for this black guy got up and said, Judge, can you give him a delay for a week? I got things that we can, save him. And he says, well, did the other judges do anything? He says, no, I got an early lunch today. I can't do it. So the guy died in an electric chair. So basically, that's what turned me around sour on these guys. I mean, you just don't let a guy die. What's 5 days? If he did it, he can get shafted the other day. If a guy's got a chance to come out alive. So the point is how do you save these people? How do you turn this law system around where these guys are totally corrupt up there? Their decisions are not... I've seen them change a lot of cases. We even got the evidence that they've done it. So how do you do that? I mean, you being a lawyer.
We don't have 6 hours here to go into.
No, I understand that.
The point is that
We need
You
publicity with
need,
it.
you need to have somebody in there who's politically independent, who's going to protect the taxpayers and the residents, common persons in this county, and not act on behalf of the members of the privileged political class. And that's really what you have. You have a system for the insiders, they take care of each other, and then you have a system for everybody else.
At least you're honest. I'll tell you that right now, you're
And,
honest.
you know, what we need to do is look at the facts, apply the law to the facts, and we all know what the law is.